What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Two Sisters, One Book. I'm Carla.
And I'm Amanda. We are two sisters, two moms tackling one book at a time. Welcome to season 4. Oh my gosh.
Season
Whoa.
4. So, new season, new book,
New book,
new us.
new author.
I
This
know.
is so
Oh
exciting.
my gosh.
The
We
Ashes
have
of
4
Aaron Fire.
seasons of it.
I know. I wonder how many
Yeah.
episodes we've done all together. That would be fun to look into, huh?
We'll have to check that out. If you have a guess, let us know. Whoever wins a thing of candy. I'm
That
just
would
kidding.
be so fun. Let's have a guess. We'll ship you a sweater.
I like
It's so
that.
hot. We'll ship you a
Ooh,
shirt. It's too hot for that, even
hot
though
off
I'm
the
in a sweater right
press.
now. With our favorite
Yeah, I was
candy.
going to say.
It's
Yes,
the
I'm
last
so
episode.
excited. I love this new book.
No, it's really great. We read the first 3 chapters with the prologue, so that prologue was coming in hot. And yeah, how'd you feel about that? Totally different than what you were expecting, huh?
It was, I whenever I go into a new book, I always go in obviously with an open mind and, okay, what are we going to get? And I find that when I start a new book, it's like I have to get through this introductory period where I get to know the characters, and sometimes it can either be really fast or really slow. And I thought Clauson did a fantastic job at literally keeping me engaged straight from the first page and then kind of slowly introducing me to these characters, not so slow to where you're like, okay, this is dragging on. She did a fantastic job, and I was literally engaged with the story right from the start. What about you?
No, I loved it. I loved every second of it. I love it all. It's very action packed. There's not a dull moment right now. And she did put everything beautifully together because you have like a dream that she has, you have a flashback, and then you have the present that they're in right now. And I feel like every transition was like so perfectly woven together that you didn't get lost in anything. So I have a feeling this is going to be a great
Mm-hmm.
book. And I don't know, I felt like I was on the battlefield with Lyra. So it was kind of exciting.
It was so exciting. I liked it. I liked all the characters we got to know so far too. I'm ready to dive right into this and let's get this book on. I'm excited.
Yes. So the opening scene was kind of cool. We get to see Lyra at 6 years old and see what exactly happened to her family. It was very dark and very emotional. So we know that the kingdom was looking for, I felt, to me, the way I read it, I felt like these guards were looking for Lyra. How do you say the word? Like specifically Lyra,
Mm-hmm.
because one of the guards did ask the mother, like, where is your daughter? And then she's all like, well, we'll never commit to your cause. But they were still trying to find her. So I don't know if they were trying to find her to tie up loose ends, or if they were like, if she's
Mm-hmm.
somebody who is more important than what
Like of
was led on.
importance.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could just go
Yeah.
into her whole little kingdom. So yeah, what was your thoughts about everything?
I thought that it was very interesting because I kind of had the same thought as you, where I was like, are they looking specifically for Lyra? Or is it that they are just they know that there's another person involved in the family and maybe they're trying to take out the entire family because they want to make sure that there are no loose ends. So I was trying to grasp the concept or I was trying to understand if they were looking for specifically just for Lyra, and her family unfortunately was, kind of what's the word?
Collateral
Like
damage.
expendable.
Yeah.
Yeah, collateral damage. And in order to find Lyra, they had to use the family for that. Or if they were just trying to get rid of her entire family. But then at the very end, I don't know if he was the commander or the leader, basically said, well, she won't make it out here because it's cold anyways, and we're not going to sit here and waste time trying to find her. So let's leave. And they just left her there.
I thought it was very interesting that Lyra says that they've been playing this game for a while now of go hide, and whoever doesn't get found gets a piece of candy. So I was wondering, what did the family do, or what were they a part of in order for them, like the mom and dad, to be like, okay, this is what we need to start training our kids to hide and not be found. And then eventually it became not a drill. This is like a real life situation. You need to be left. And we do know it
Hmm.
was cold because even in the beginning, Lyra was saying, I'm cold. And she seemed like she didn't want to play anymore. Like she just wanted to go, but she was hearing like
Yeah.
the horses and the night's coming. So I think it was so cold that the knight did say, like, he was just saying, like, she's going to die out here anyways. She's 6 years old. She can't survive. So without taking in consideration that the family has been training these kids, and it was snowing. That's right, because the brother
Yeah.
was found almost buried in snowy ice. So this was dark. That was a dark opening. Like, can you imagine being 6 years old going
Yeah.
through that? Holy cow. Okay, let's go.
The way I saw it was that the family's like, well, we have to train our kids, but we don't want them to feel like they need to be afraid of anything. So it almost seems like the parents were like, hey, let's play a game where, yeah, you go out and you hide. And if you can stay hidden the longest until I call you, you win. And we see that Lyra kind of has like the same hiding spot that she's had this whole time, which seemed like it was inside of a tree. Kind of the way I pictured it is like the Alice in Wonderland hole, right? And she's
Yeah.
climbing through it. And then she goes up versus going into a hole, but she goes up and she kind of just stays in there. And she has a blanket in there and she has a notebook. So she's made this place almost like a little nook for herself where she can entertain herself while she's in there, because it sounds like she's probably spent a lot of time hiding in there. And that's where it made me think that the parents did this. I mean, it seems obviously that they did it on purpose, but they trained them to not just hide, but to stay hiding in there for a long period of time, to where her mom's like, you need to practice your letters. So that's what
Yeah.
she did.
Yeah. It's just smart, smart on the mom and dad. But now I'm like more curious on like, what did they do or what are they a part of, for them to like make that decision of like, we need to start training our kids for this. That was a
Yeah.
really great opening. And we got a 24-year
And
time jump. Sorry.
you're fine. But we do know that the leader of the soldiers that were looking for Lyra, and they were hunting her, and they had the mom and they ended up taking out the mom. But these specific people we know as the enemy. And the leader of the enemy, Lyra, peers out and she's able to look and she sees that he is wearing this almost like golden armor and there is a lion on it. So I think that's something worthy to note.
And just if you're noting stuff like that, remember he is the man with a lot of scars. So I feel like we might see him again.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yes.
we have a 24-year time jump, which is kind of exciting to see. So we do see that Lyra is commanding her own little, I want to call it a platoon. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but she's worked her way up. She is a commander now in this war that she's on the front lines with. And she has a friend and she has a brother that found her when he was 18 and she was probably 6. So that's kind of cool. And what did she say? How do you pronounce his name? Aid? I've been calling him Aid. Eld. Aid.
Oh, I've been calling him Aldi, like Aldi's.
Okay. That's a good one. Okay. I'm going to call him
Yeah.
A
We'll
because
call
I
him
don't
Aldi.
know. Okay.
Okay.
He is the only one with powers. So did they?
Yes.
I don't remember what powers he has, but he is the only one
He
out of
has
that
earth
hope so
powers.
far. He has earth powers that we know of so
Yes.
far. I feel like Lyra is going to have her own set of powers, more powerful than anybody.
Hmm.
But yeah,
And I actually did mark down all of like the group of friends and everything that's kind of noted about them in the book, because if you want I can read it to you just so the listeners have an idea. Now I got to find it. Just kidding. Okay. So we have Lyra, who obviously is our main character, I believe, and I think you could agree to it. I think everybody who is reading the book with us knows that this is going to be the girl that we are following. She's 30. She has her friend Katie, who is a healer. And then we have Misk, who is the male friend. He's described as very handsome and he's younger. He's 20. And he, as we get later into the story, we find out he is also somebody who is a fighter, because I was wondering if he was also a healer, but it looks like he is also somebody who fights. And then we have, which Amanda's going to call him A and I call him Aldi. who is her other friend, who's kind of like her brother figure, and he's 42. He's got more muscle than a man. And yeah, he found Lyra when he was 18 in the middle of nowhere. And then the other person to mention would be Nadia, who is the commander's daughter, who happens to be sleeping with Aldi.
Yes. The commander's daughter. Dun, dun, dun. So all you listeners have like this little image in your head now of who we're talking about. But we do see that they've been probably together for what, the last maybe 18 18 years maybe in this war.
I think it's safe to
S-
guess that.
So the war is over. The Lions have won, which is the kingdom that Lyra is fighting for. Before the war started, each commander, so Lyra is a commander, A is a commander, Misk is a commander, and then what was the commander's name again? The general, Nathan. So you have Nathan, who's the commander, and she said before this war started or something like that, each one of them had over 400 men to command. And at the end of this war, altogether, it's less than 400. So that just gives you a picture of how many people they have lost and they still won. So I was just wondering, what does the other side look like? Kind of what what?
Yeah,
But yeah, no, that's what's
right.
happening. So they have all this and then they worked really hard. It's been a long time. All these people want to go home and they get a letter from the kingdom, which I don't know if you guys could see it, but I'm sure Carla wrote it down so she could probably read it off to you.
No, I just have it
Probably
in the
not.
book.
No. Okay. So we have fire people, water people, earth people, people, and no power people. And then you have
Hmm.
shifters. So you have a lion shifter, a dragon shifter, a wolf shifter, and an all lesser shifter. All lesser.
Hmm.
This is like what
Yeah,
the king probably wrote on the paper. It's kind of degrading, if you ask me. You have no
right.
power. You're below everybody else, and you're not a shifter. So you're below everybody else. But one of the things that he got me, so if you're a fire shifter or if you have firepower, you're ranked number one. If you're a water power, you're ranked number two. If you're earth power, you're ranked number three. And if you have no power, of course, you're on the bottom. And then the same goes for the shifters. Lion is number one, dragon is number two, wolf is number three. No shifter is you're on the bottom, so you're number four. But right here it says he's going to provide an example. If a wolf shifter does not fully shift but has a full firepower, they will be ranked two by power and not shift. Because he was
Hmm.
complaining that people are intermingling with each other. So now you kind of have these off breed type people, which that's the way I took it. I don't know if that's right. But what would that mean? Like ranked two by power? So firepower is number one, and the wolf shifter would be number three. But if you have the full power, does he mean like you're ranked at number two? So
Yeah, my I
you're
think
ranked as the same as a water power?
I think so. I think because yeah, because you have these people who are interbreeding with each other. So it's like if you have a somebody who's a fire power, because the way I interpreted it is that fire and lion tend to be one. So if you're like a um full-blooded firepower person, that your shift would be like a lion. But let's say you're fire and you breed with somebody who's a wolf. If you end up getting fire powers, then you basically, the stronger the power, the higher up the number goes. But yeah, I guess I'm trying to think, because I can kind of picture it in my head, but I'm trying to figure out how to say it. But
Yeah.
one
No, I
between
love
one
how
and
she
three
did
is
it.
two.
Yeah, no, I love how
Yeah.
she did it. I'm very excited to know because I know that they're going to have to go to the place now to get testing to see
Hmm.
where they rank because he wants everybody in uniform. So the way I kind of
Yeah.
pictured it was, I guess, the movie Divergent, where each section they all have a different uniform on. So I'm wondering how
Hmm.
I want to jump ahead so bad and say Lyra has all these powers. She's all of them above.
Yeah. Well,
um,
because we know that Lyra doesn't technically have power. She's considered powerless. And if you're
yeah,
powerless, you have to wear that uniform that, what was it? Like, I think it was uh, a gray tunic with black pants. And so that's how you're identified or classified, I guess you could say, as somebody who's powerless. We know Lyra is powerless. We know that Katie is powerless. And we know that Misk is powerless. And Aldi is the only one that has powers. And he would be considered a third rank since he has earth powers.
yeah, yeah. She did say everybody in the camp because she was saying it wasn't fair how they're doing that because now
And I
they're
don't
all
buy it.
getting
I
put
don't buy that
against.
she doesn't have powers.
You know, maybe they went dormant. Like maybe she got so scared that they went dormant, or maybe she didn't really have anybody to. I want to say teach her, but that's not the right word. Like bring out those powers for her. You know?
Or, and this is a theory, maybe we want to pin this. I don't know. It's up to you. Or Lyra's family somehow was like a new breed of power. Instead of having fire, water, or earth, there was another power that somehow manifested out of her family. And same thing with the shifter. Maybe there was a new animal that they were shifted into. And what if it was something more powerful than the fire and the lion? So the king and the royalty maybe didn't want them around anymore and tried to get rid of them because they didn't want them overpowering them.
Maybe because even right here in our paper, he even said, while the royal family will remain at number one rank, regardless of power, the test results will be as followed. So I guess no matter what, the royal family will always be number one. So maybe you're right. Maybe this family, maybe the Ashen Arrow family was more powerful. Maybe they were supposed to be
Mhm.
the kingdom.
Yeah,
Or maybe this is
because
a
we
new
don't
girl.
really
I don't know.
know. I mean, we know that at the end of chapter one, Lyra says it's time to figure out just why the king wanted the Ashen Arrows all dead. And she
Yeah.
would be the only remaining Ashen Arrow like lineage remaining. And because they weren't able to get rid of her. And she changed her name. So they're not able to find her, which do we know was her name always Lyra? Or do we think, because in the beginning, they don't really mention her name, they just mention
Yes. The
the
mother
daughter.
says,
So
Lyra,
we don't
run.
know, do we?
Yes.
Ah, okay. You're right.
Yes. She says Lyra run. Yep. So she only changed her last name. Mother, I whisper again, and then it says Lyra run. I had like this whole
Hmm.
chaotic scene in my head. So, but yeah, no, she does change her last name. She takes A's last name. And you're right. They probably can't find her, so they probably assume that she's dead. And I guarantee, I don't know though. Because I want to say that that commander with all the scars and the lion, he's probably still in the same position. So I wonder if we're going to see him later on and he like recognizes her, and probably not because he never saw her. Maybe they have to work together. Like, oh my gosh, there's so much going through my head right now. But yeah,
And what's the enemy's name? Bloodthorn?
yeah, Bloodthorn. So I think the Bloodthorn troops are the king's troops.
Okay. So she would be considered a Bloodthorn soldier now because she's fighting for the king, technically, just under a different name.
Maybe. I don't want to assume that just yet.
I know.
It would make sense because it's time to figure out why the king wanted the ashen arrows all dead. Or because this is where it could get tricky too. Maybe the king hired somebody else to do his dirty work, like another kingdom to do his dirty work.
That's actually a really good theory, too. I like that one.
We're just going to have to keep on reading.
So, what did you think of the last chapter that we read, chapter three? Because a lot of it was her kind of flashing back to it, like a battle that she was in with Aldi and Misk. And we did see Katie there healing people. But it seemed like the way I interpreted it is as she's sitting there talking with the other people in the group, she's having this flashback. And I thought that it was very coincidental that she's having this flashback thinking about everything that was going on, because she talks about how she is trying to be a shield for all the people who are that are trying to be healed behind her, and they still won the war. At the end of the day, they still won it. But it's this whole almost descriptive scene where she talks about like her holding up the shield against the Bloodthorn enemy. And you see Aldi off on the side, and he's working his way towards her, and he's taking enemies out the whole way. And then you have Katie, who is behind her, healing people who are wounded. Lyra's trying to almost give the healers time to get these people off the battleground so that they can save more people. And then you have Misk, who comes in, and he's helping Katie get them off. What did you think about that whole last chapter, and like kind of your thoughts behind it, and what it meant, I should say?
It just shows that they've been through a lot together. I feel like this whole letter from the king having them go up against each other after they've been through so much, like that is kind of crazy. They did put a whole wall, and you have people basically going to give up their life to help these soldiers who are down in limb. And you do see Miss yelling, like, hurry up, get them faster. Because Miss came and took the soldier that Katie had, and she felt relieved. And then she was able to go get the next man. They like work together really, really well. And you can see that, yes, they've been through a lot. They're a great team. And now it's just, you get to see like how, I feel like in a battle like that, you become more than just familiars, you become a complete knitted family.
Mm-hmm. Now, going back to earlier when we had mentioned in the prologue how Lyra had spotted this man who had the gold armor, and he had the lion on like almost like a signet on his chest. Are we making the assumption, at least now, and this assumption could change as we go, that this person was in association with the king, or do we think he was somebody else entirely and just happened to be wearing something that symbolized the royalty lineage?
I think he's working with the king, or he's the guard of the king, or he has to do something with that kingdom.
So it's
I'm
interesting that
watching him.
Lyra, right? It is interesting how Lyra found herself fighting with the king, technically. And I think it is her way of just getting close, because we do know her ultimate goal at the end. And she kind of mentions this even as the war is done, is that the war is done. The lions have won, like the lion people won. And now it's time to continue on with this next mission, which is figuring out what happened with the king. But she also mentions anger towards the king and his son. And so I'm wondering, who is this son?
Well, yeah. This guy like wipes out her whole family. I would hate his whole family too.
So with this whole note that got sent to them about everybody's going to be getting tested to find out what power they are. And I think the reason, there's a couple theories on why I think that they're doing this, but the first one I think is just to maybe make sure they know everybody who's everybody, or at least that's the excuse, right? We know that everybody's interbreeding with each other. We want to make sure that nobody is hiding powers from us or where everybody stands. Because it's almost like, I would think that if your power isn't listed, that might be considered illegal or something. But I'm almost wondering if they're doing that to find, if we do want to go with our theory of maybe there's another power forming, like Lyra's family. I'm wondering if they're looking for that, or if they're trying to find Lyra herself. And the way to do this is by going through and testing every person. But I do think that with this testing process, because Lyra is so adamant about, we have to go back, we're just going to find out that we don't have powers, it's such a waste of time. I kind of think we're going to see Lyra discover something about herself, that maybe she does have powers that might have been diminished.
Oh yeah. No, see that's a good thing, because I feel like one, it is probably trying to see, okay, it's so much time has passed. Let's see if we could find the girl that we weren't able to find 24 years ago. And two, it could be census? Um, census? A thing to keep track of people, because so many people have died. So now they're like, so many people have died. Let's see who we have now. And everybody's going to get a new uniform. And like you said before, maybe this training exercise does bring up a power for Lyra.
Yeah, it's a way of control. I think it's a way that the king maintains control of all the people. I think at the end of it, he wants to make sure that nobody is going to come out more powerful than he is. And it's a way to control that if there is anybody who may be showing signs of maybe a separate type of a power that hasn't been discovered yet, or at least known to the people, than to kind of get rid of that before, or yeah, just a way of maybe either categorizing it more. I'm not really entirely sure what how it was categorized before this note, because all we have to go off of is of this note, unless it was the same beforehand. But I do think that it is a whole thing of the king just wanting to maintain control and kind of display some sort of like, I don't know, not like a scare tactic, but like fear, instill fear amongst his people that you can't hide anything from us.
Yeah. And no matter what, we're on top. You're on the bottom.
Hmm.
This is
Yeah.
us, and this is you.
Yeah. So I have a feeling this king is not going to be someone we're going to like. Who was your favorite character that you got introduced to? Would it be Lyra, or I don't know, anyone else?
I think it's too early to tell. Yeah, Lyra right now is on top.
I really like Aldi so far. I don't know why. I feel like his personality, like he's going to be one of those funny guys, like almost like a mix. And don't come be mad at me for this, people, but I almost feel like he could be like a mix of like Zayden and Carrion mixed together, where he's got like the personality of Carrion, but like the big strength and fighting skills of Zayden.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that was those are some exciting 3 chapters. I think we got a really good introduction into everything. I'm really excited to see the story as it moves forward. I hope you're ready just as much as I am.
Oh, I'm so ready for this. This is going to be a good one. I'm excited for
Hmm.
it. I feel like a big adventure is going to happen.
Right?
So,
So what are we reading next?
oh, we can read the next 3 chapters. These episodes might be just a little bit shorter, but I think the 3 chapters have been working for us lately.
Yeah, it gives us time to really dive into like our theories, and we'll see. As obviously, I think as we start to move forward and we start seeing a lot of the story kind of evolving, we're going to have a lot to talk about. Usually the first couple episodes as we're getting introduced tend to be a little shorter because we're just figuring out who these characters are and we don't have a lot of theories to discuss yet. So I'm excited for that and I can't wait.
I'm excited too. And like Carla said on our last episode, that we are only going to be airing now on Tuesdays. So make sure you guys listen on Tuesdays.
Yep. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we end the episode?
No, but we love you guys.
Yes, we do. Make sure you guys are subscribed. So if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to share it with a friend. Make sure to leave a comment and leave a review. And just, yeah, share it to your story just so we can see where you guys are listening to and what platform you're listening to us on. If you're watching us on YouTube, again, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to hit the like button and leave a comment. If you are not already, make sure to follow us on social media. We are on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And then also, you guys want to make sure that you go check out the author of this book, which is Clauson. She is on Instagram and TikTok as well. And she does a lot of lives on TikTok. So you guys want to make sure you go check her out and just kind of get to know her. She's awesome. We absolutely adore her. And we are so excited that we're able to read her book. But yeah, other than that, I guess we'll see you guys on the next episode. Happy reading.